Over the last number of weeks, you've heard practically as a cliche the declaration that we live in unprecedented times. And that has become a cliche because it's been repeated practically ad nauseum. I'd like you to consider, though, that in all of the history of the recitation of Yizkor, what makes this unprecedented in Jewish history is that never before was there a situation from the time of the Churban of the Beit HaMikdash, from the time of the destruction of the temple in Yerushalayim, where Jewish people were prevented from davening in their shuls all over the world, all at the same time. If there was persecution in one place, Jews knew, at least in their mind's eye, there was somewhere, somehow, a Jew who was making a minyan and going to a synagogue somewhere else that was not under the thumb of whatever the type of subjugation might have been. And now we face an unprecedented threat, which in our community here in Skokie or Torah, Baruch Hashem, we are so far, I think, overall, weathering the storm. This will require, however, continued vigilance in terms of the social distancing and the need to hold steady with our current path and to keep this in mind throughout, even the second days of Yom Tov and even beyond Pesach, if Mashiach Tzidkenu does not arrive just at the end of Chag HaGeula. For Kadosh Baruch Hu has other plans, and it's going to be a bit longer. So we have to hold out a bit longer. And I'm open with that as a very practical matter this morning, knowing that we have so many people who are joining us. To please keep that in mind. That it is so crucial that we maintain our sense of vigilance when it comes to the issues of protecting ourselves and our lives. So that's just at the outset. What we're going to do now today is not actually a prayer service in the sense of a minyan, of course. I'm wearing a talis because it's still Shachris time and still the Shas Musaf at this time. So I just had in mind when I finished davening this morning, I took off my talis and putting it back on. None of the men have to go run to put on a talis. We're doing this today because Rav Herschel Schachter Shlita, one of the poskim of the OU and one of the guiding lights for the RCA, indicated that we could recite Yizkor privately, which was always true, but that he felt that really people could recite it even on Chol HaMoed this year. One of the aspects, though, that he pointed out as being very important and the mainstay of why it is that we have Yizkor altogether is that people should give tzedakah. The idea that we give tzedakah is because what we're doing when we give tzedakah, and there was a few years ago, the Shabbos Shuvah Drasha was this was the subject. When we give tzedakah, we are perpetuating the memory, but in a certain way, in a representational way, practically, we are pushing forward the memory of our loved one by the money that we give to help others. We're thereby going to be perpetuating their memory. It's in their zchut that we give that money. This has a very early references in our tradition. It goes back to the days of the Rishonim, and I would even venture to say even to Chazal. But when the Rishonim describe it, the Levush writes that the notion of doing this, Mishum Sherotzim Liftzok Tzedakah, the idea of Hazkarat Neshamot, he writes, in the last day of Pesach, is in order to be able to fulfill the decision that one is going to give tzedakah. On the last day of Yom Tov in Shul, we read a section of the Torah called Kol HaBechor. And that section, which is read in the Sefer Torah, won't be read this year in shuls, but at least we should take out a chumash to try to read it from Sefer Dvarim, the 16th parak, is actually the notion of Ish Kematnat Yado, that as we are seen before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so everyone is meant to come and give a gift to Hashem. So therefore, we have the idea that everybody gives tzedakah. That covers us. But why do we give tzedakah in the memory of our loved ones? Because of the idea that we say that in our gathering together in shul, we are trying to think about the idea that our gathering is not just those of us who are in this world, but on a certain level, our gathering encompasses those who are in the other world. The Kav HaYashar quotes in the name of the Maharil that the idea behind this is that in the days of Yizkor, we are reminding ourselves and we're reminding HaKadosh Baruch Hu of this reality of the convergence of Shamayim and Aretz, of the convergence of the Yeshiva Shalmata and the Yeshiva Shamala. He reminds us here in the Kav HaYashar that in the times of the Beit HaMikdash, there was a strange, among the many odd miracles that happened. Aren't all miracles, they're supernatural. One of the 10 miracles in the Mikdash was that all the Jewish people could somehow cram themselves into the Makom HaMikdash, to the Har HaBayit. And when they did so, they could be omdim tzfufim mishtachim revachim. They would stand in a crowded manner, but they could all bow down at the same time. There was lots of space. V'zeu haya neged hateva. This was against nature. But writes the Kav HaYashar in the name of the Maharil. The Maharil was one of the most important Rishonim of Ashkenaz, the 14th century of the Common Era. Every regel, every holiday is an opportunity. Ki kol regel v'regel hayubayim nishmat Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov l'Beit HaMikdash Shamala in kol nishmat tzadikim. And every single holiday, the souls of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, all the patriarchs, the matriarchs, they would come to the place of the Mikdash Shamala, the temple on high, with all of the souls of all of the righteous ones. And the Mikdash Shalmata, the Mikdash that is down below, as it were, had to take second slot. There was not even any room, if you will, from all of the different tzaddikim, all the different neshamot who gathered together in Shemayim. Therefore now that we don't have a Beit HaMikdash anymore, it was destroyed. And unfortunately, we have to remind ourselves of all the neshamot. We have to remind ourselves, but also to remind HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, it's Yizkor Elokim. Hashem, we want you to remember on each and every holiday, so that their merit will stand for us and for our progeny for all time. And that's what we're doing now, friends, by getting together in this virtual way. Maran Rav Rees, our Av Beitim, pointed out already a few weeks ago that in a certain respect, HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent us the Refuah Kodem Lamaka, a certain ability to, if not cure ourselves, at least to contend with this challenge before the plague itself hit. Had this happened 10 years ago, there would have been no way we could have a Zoom video to do Yizkor at the same time. 10 years ago, there would not have been an opportunity for so many shiurim, gatherings, etc. Exactly at this time, we've had so many opportunities together to be able to be together as a shul and as a community, and of course the global community getting together, which itself an unbelievable feature of everything that's transpired. We should think about this when we're reflecting retrospectively on everything that's happened. I mentioned when we withdrew from the shul, I sent a letter to the shul that I want to remind you about now, that we are walking the path of our forebears. Granted, each and every generation's challenge different in certain respects when it was for so many and so many years, and unfortunately still now, those who would wish us ill, who sought to persecute us in various places. So our forebears understood that there was a playbook. And many people felt and feel that when this challenge happened, what are we going to do now? I want to remind you that we walk in the same path of our Avot and Imahot. The Yizkor that many of us are reciting today ought to remind us that they too suffered from challenges that on a certain level had no precedent. They found a way, a path forward. That is what the halacha means, to walk in the path of our forebears, and to walk also with our heads held high and our eyes looking heavenward. We have a prayer that we recite now called Yizkor, but I mentioned in that letter that what I sought to do and I still seek to do with each of the Divrei Chizuk and each of the videos and the letters and the shiurim is to point out the various tools that we have at our disposal already, that we don't even realize we have at our fingertips and actually on our lips, in our minds, and in our hearts. I'm going to put on the screen now something that will be so familiar to everyone because you've been saying it for days and days on end. But when you read it and you see it with fresh eyes, I want you to realize the challenge, but also the gift that we have the days still that are ahead of us now. This is the tefillah that we've been saying and that we say every time there's a holiday. Here's what it looks like. I put it on your screen. You can find it in your Siddur. We've been saying it on and on and on. Look for the word zechira. Look for the word remembrance here. And ask yourself, what does the remembrance here mean? Elokeinu v'Elokei Avotenu, our God and the God of our ancestors. Ya'aleh v'yavuv yagia v'yira v'yishama v'yiratze v'yishama v'yipaked v'yizacher zichronenu u'fiktonenu. We're asking you, Hashem, that now they should rise, come, reach, appear, be favored, heard, regarded, and remembered before you. Our recollection and remembrance, as well as the remembrance of our ancestors. That's what Yizkor is, v'zichron avotenu. That's all past. But then we want asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to remember someone who has not yet walked the earth, but I and many others believe may be on the cusp of arriving right now. Chodesh HaGeula, Chag HaGeula, Zman Cherutenu, the exact configuration of the same year of Yetziat Mitzrayim, the reality that something gadol and nora, something great and something that strikes awe in the hearts of every human being, is unfolding before our very eyes. V'zichron Mashiach ben David Avdecha. The recollection, the remembrance, Hashem. Remember Mashiach ben David, your servant. V'zichron Yerushalayim your Kodshecha. Remember Yerushalayim, your holy city. V'zichron kol amcha beit Yisrael lefanecha. Remember your people, the house of Israel. Lefanecha, lifleita letova. Remember the Jewish people before you for deliverance, for well-being. We're asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu during this holiday and every single holiday of our entire lives, past, present, and future, for Chaim, Chesed, and Rachamim, for Chaim and Shalom. We want asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for grace, for loving kindness, for compassion, for life, for peace. And then we insert the day of the holiday. And of course, we're up to the Chag HaMatzot. Now look at the second half of Ya'aleh V'Yavo. After we asked Hashem, could you remember all of this? Could you remember this? Now, what are we asking Hashem before I get to the second half over here? Hashem never forgets. Hashem doesn't have to be reminded of anything, of any facts. He's God. One of our basic principles about HaKadosh Baruch Hu is that He's omniscient. He's all-knowing. So I want to remind you of something I said on Rosh Chodesh Nisan in that OU call. And it is that on our Musaf on Rosh Hashanah, we daven from a machzor, a whole prayer called Zichronot. It's a blessing about remembrances. Moi V'Rabi of Aaron Lichtenstein Zatzal pointed out that the word Zikaron does not mean remembrance in the intellectual sense, but rather Zikaron refers to some kind of awakening of compassion. Every time HaKadosh Baruch Hu remembers, He's always remembering for the sake of concern and for the sake of rescue and redemption. Yizkor Elohim et Noach, ve'et kol hachaya ve'et kol ha'behema asher ito bateva, vayaver Elohim ruach ala aretz, vayashoku hamayim. Here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu remembered Noach, not for one instant, as Noach was bobbing on the waves of fate, together with his family members and all of the living animals of the time, did HaKadosh Baruch Hu forget Noach. But rather, now HaKadosh Baruch Hu remembered Noach, means that He had compassion upon Noach and decided it was time to abate the storm waters that surged around him. Vayishma Elohim et na'akatam, vayizkor Elohim et brito, et Avraham, et Yitzchak, ve'et Yaakov. As the book of Shemot teaches us, the moment of redemption began first with HaKadosh Baruch Hu hearing the cries of the Jewish people. And Hashem remembered His covenant with Avram, with Yitzchak, and with Yaakov. And then a pasuk from Sefer Vayikra, the pasuk that refers to the time period of great punishment, of great rebuke, the time period of the Tochacha, but one that ends finally with HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mercy, His rachamim on Klal Yisrael and on the world. V'zacharti et briti Yaakov, v'af et briti Yitzchak, v'af et briti Avraham ezkor, v'ha'aretz ezkor. I will remember my covenant with Yaakov, also my covenant with Yitzchak, and also my covenant with Avram will I remember. And the land I will remember. I always thought the land I will remember refers only to Eretz Yisrael. But I note that it doesn't say Eretz Canaan or Eretz Yisrael, just as Va'aretz Ezkor. Perhaps it means all of planet Earth now. That pasuk is a pasuk in Sefer Vayikra that is about redemption. Now go back to Ya'aleh V'Yavo that's on your screen and look with me at the last words here from the end of the tefillah. Because here the tefillah is not just a point of asking Hashem to remember, but now we're actually calling out to Hashem in great supplication. I thought before Yom Tov is celebration, not supplication. But it turns out I've been saying my whole life, Yalev Yavo, after we say all these, please remember, 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 we turn now to Kadosh Baruch Hu in a much more direct appeal. Zochreinu Hashem Elokeinu Bo L'Tova. On this day, remember us, Lord our God, for good. Ufakdeinu Vo Livracha, recollect for us blessing. Voshienu Vo L'Chaim, save us, Hashem, deliver us for life. Uvidvar Yeshua V'Rachamim, in the matter of the promise of salvation and of compassion. Chus V'Chaneinu, have compassion on us. Show us grace now. V'Rachem Aleinu V'Hoshienu, have mercy upon us and save us. Why HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Ki Eilecha Einenu, because our eyes are turned to you. Kikel Melech Chanun V'Rachem Ata, because we know, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that you are a great, compassionate King. You are a gracious and compassionate one. And so our eyes are looking to you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to save us now. Save us in the holiday of Chag HaMatzot. That's the Yizkor that we're reciting today. We always wondered when the day would come when the list would be very, very long, and how it would be that our shul would be able to send out during Yizkor the names of all the members of our shul who have left the world. But now we can do it because we are gathered together on Zoom. In lieu of my reading each of these names out loud, as now on your screen, all the names of the members of congregation or Torah who have left the world, including now, sadly, we add Fred Seidel, Zichron Livracha, and Donna Pagonitz, Zichron Livracha, who have both left the world since we last read the Yizkor list, the members of our shul. I'd ask you please to take a moment or two, just quietly, to look over these names. These names that for so many of us are family. Family, actually, they are first-degree relatives of those of us on the call today, but they are truly part of our congregational family. Eile Yizkru Lebracha, may these be remembered for a blessing. And as we have these names before our eyes, let us, each of us, think a little bit about the Yizkor that we will be reciting. And that we're hoping that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will remember us on this Chag HaGeula, by which we mean to have a compassionate concern for us and to rescue us from the current moment in which we are finding ourselves in Tafshin Pei. As we prepare to recite Yizkor, and as you continue to look over the list, I want to share with you one last word about the Torah reading that's coming up tomorrow and that characterizes the latter days of Pesach. And that is the song at the sea. And it's germane to our Yizkor. And you know, those who listened to or didn't have yet opportunity maybe to listen to the Shabbos HaGadol drasha about making Seder to confront chaos, where I spoke extensively about the Shirat Hayam, the song at the sea, and how each of us finds ourselves so often at the edge of that raging sea, of ocean waves crashing before us, of chaos, of uncertainty that lies ahead, and then raising our eyes in tefillah to our HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'll share with you just that it is on the holiday of Pesach, of Chag HaMatzot, that the words of Az Yashir Moshe take on a particular resonance, not only because we're reading them, but because historically it happened tonight, overnight, as we walked through the dry bed, surrounded by the waves, standing still above us, towering on either side, but also because of the song that finds its way into our siddur. Az Yashir Moshe Uvenei Yisrael Zot LaHashem. Rashi points out Chazal note that this song is not written as then the people, Moshe and the Jewish people sang this song to Hashem, where they said, Ashir al Hashem ki ga'o ga'a sus rocho ramavayam, but rather they will sing the song. All the people who are on this list before your eyes and mine, all the people we will say Yizkor for now, beginning with the Yizkor for martyrs throughout Jewish history, and especially for those lost to us in the Shoah, and those of Chalalei Tzahal who gave their lives for Hakamat Medina and for the defense of Medinat Yisrael. Az Yashir Moshe, Rashi quotes from the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin, Amru Rabotinu Zichronam Livracha, Mikan, from here, Remez L'Tchiat HaMeitim Min HaTorah. From here comes the hint, the idea that someday, everyone, including Moshe and the Bnei Yisrael at the moment of the Kriyat Yamsuf, and every Jew of all Jewish history will sing this song together, a song of deliverance, a song of praise. Mikan Remez L'Tchiat HaMeitim Min HaTorah. This is exactly what we daven every single day. We say, Umevi Goel Livnei V'neim L'man Shmo B'Ava. You bring a Redeemer to this children's children with love. That's our belief from Mashiach Tzidkenu. And then the second bracha, V'neman At Lahacha Yot Meitim. Faithful are you, Hashem, who will someday resuscitate the dead. We will all sing this song together. For now, we will recite Yizkor with them in mind. And we hope that they will, to whatever extent we understand this concept, that they will have us in mind to be a Git Beiter and Shemayim, to daven for us in Shemayim, to, as it were, try as best they can to storm the gates of heaven and to say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Zochreinu, remember us at this time. We'll recite now the Yizkor first for the martyrs. I'd ask all to please listen in. If you have a sitter, an art scroll sitter, or otherwise, you're welcome to listen to follow along. Be found on page 814. And recite the two, one for martyrs, one for Chalalei Tzahal, and then will be the personal Yizkor. Everyone's welcome to stay on the line. You're not actually literally in the same room, so there's no halacha about leaving the room per se. So we could all stay together. El Malei Rachamim Shochein B'Meromim Hametzei Menucha Nechona Al Kanfei HaShechina B'Malot Kedoshim Utehorim Kezohar Harakia Mazirim Et Nishmot HaKedoshim Ve'atorim Shehumtu V'shenehergu V'shenishchatu V'shenisrefu V'shenitbeu V'shenechneku V'shenikberu Chayim Al Kiddush Hashem Bavur Shebli Nederet Ein Tzedaka Be'ad Azkarat Nishmotehem Began Eden Tehei Menuchatam Lachein Bal Harachamim Yasdireim B'Seter Knafav Leolamim Ve'yitzror B'tzror Chaim Et Nishmotehem Adonai Hu Nachalatam Ve'yanuchu B'Shalom Al Mishkevotehem V'nomar Amen. Now for Chalalei Tzahal. Elmalei Rachamim Shochein B'Meromim Hametzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei HaShechina במעלות קדושים וטהורים וגיבורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים לנשמות הקדושים שנלחמו בכל מערכות ישראל במחתרת ובצבא הגנה לישראל ושנפלו במלחמתם ומסרו נפשם על קדושת השם, העם והארץ, בעבור שאני בלי נדר נודר, ליתן צדקה בעד הזכרת נשמותיהם, לכן בעל הרחמים, יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם, אדוני הוא נחלתם, בגן עדן תהא מנוחתם, ינוחו ושלום על משכבותיהם, ותעמוד לכל ישראל זכותם, ויעמדו לגורלם לקץ ימין, ונאמר amen. We'll continue now with the personal Yizkor recitation. Per usual, I'll just open with the invocation of the first words on my siddur, page 810 in the Art Scroll siddur, but whatever siddur you're using, and we'll proceed from there. As soon as I conclude, we'll say the Yoshev B'Seiter as usual, and then we'll pause for a few minutes. The people who want to recite Yizkor on their own, of course, will have the opportunity to do so, and then conclude with the Av HaRachamim. Adonai ma'adam v'teidaehu ben enosh v'techashevehu. Adam lahevel dama yamav kitzel over. Baboker yatzitz v'chalaf la'erev yimolel v'yavesh. Limnot yameinu kein hoda v'navi levav chochma. Shemur tamurei yashar Ki acharit liish shalom. Ach Elohim yifdeh nafshi miyad sheol ki yikacheini sela. Kala sheiri ulevavi tzur levavi v'chelki Elohim leolam. V'yashov he'afar al haaretz k'shehaya v'aruach tashuv el ha'elohim asher netana. Yoshev b'seiter elyon b'tzel Shaddai yitlonan. Ki malacha vitzavelach lishmoncha v'chol derachlecha al kapayim yisauncha pentigov ba'even raglecha al shachal v'afetem tidroch tirmos kefir v'tanin ki v'chashak v'afaletehu asa gevehu ki yada shmi yikraeni v'neu imo anochi v'tzara Achalitzehu v'acha b'dehu. Orech yamim asbiyehu v'areu bishuati. Orech yamim asbiyehu v'areu bishuati. Just give another minute for those who are still concluding, and then we'll conclude the service with the Misha Berach that Ira Perlman will recite. Our Gabbai will recite the Misha Berach, and then we'll say Av Harachamim together, as is our custom, and that will conclude the service this morning. The Yizkor. Okay, Ira.
Misha Berach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Moshe v'Aaron David u'Shlomo v'Yivarech את מורנו הרב משה צבי בן רפאל, שייתן לצדקה ביד הנשמות שהזכיר היום, לכבוד המקום, לכבוד התורה, בשכר זה הקדוש ברוך הוא, ישמרהו ויצילהו מכל צרה וצוקה, ומכל נגע ומחלה, ישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיו, ויזכה לעלות לרגל עם כל ישראל אחיו, ונאמר אמן.
Amen. Conclude now with Av HaRachamim, which you can find if you have an Art Scroll Siddur. It should be on page 454, or it might be in your Yizkor booklet if you have one. Av HaRachamim, Sochein Meromim, Racham Avatzum Yizkor V'Chosim V'Yisham Tmim, V'Lod HaKodesh Masim Nafsham V'Dushat Hashem, HaNe'ehavim V'Animim B'Chayehem, ובמותם לא נפרדו מנשארים כלו מרד גבהו, לעשות רצון קונם חפץ צורם יזכרם אלוהינו לטובה, עם שאר צדיקים עולם במקום לנגד דבר שפוך. כתוב בתורת משה איש האלוהים, המין גויים עמו, כי דם עבדיו יקום ונקם ישיב לצריו, וכיפר אדמתו עמו, לידי עבדיך הנביאים כתוב לאמור, וניקאתי דם ולא ניקאתי, ואמר שכן בציון וחטא הקודש נאמר, למה יאמרו הגויים, יהיה אלוהיהם, יוודע בגויים לעינינו, נקמתם עבדיך השפוך. ואומר כי דורש דמים אותם זכר, לא שכח צעקת הנביאים, ואומר ידין בגויים, מלא גוויות, מחץ ראש על ארץ רבה, מנחל בדרך ישתה, על כן ירים ראש. That last tefillah that we recited, Av HaRachamim, was written on account of the destruction of 3 Jewish communities in Speyer, Worms, and Magenza in the year 1096 during the First Crusade. It is the signature tefillah to remember lost and destroyed communities, but not our community. Our community continues to live and remain vital. Our community continues to remain connected. Our community continues to hope for the future. Our community continues to carry the memories of all of the people for whom we've recited Yizkor today. And we move now into the latter phase of Pesach, not only with a sense of a connection, hopefully with each other, but also a connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that is renewed in its vigor, and our sense that even though right now we're unable to get together in person, our community remains together and connected to itself, and together connected to our HaKadosh Baruch Hu. For people who want to give tzedakah, you can give tzedakah anywhere. And if there's something specifically this year, someone just asked me, the answer is wherever you'd like to give it. We gave just to be easier for people, you can give it to or Torah, so it'll help people also. There's tzedakah needs in the community. What should I say? Many people have very generously already given, and there are many tzedakahs, worthy tzedakahs out there. So if you can help the shul through a Yizkor appeal, so why not? But if you want to give somewhere else, it's fine too. Let me just mention a few practical items. The candle for Yizkor should still be lit as usual, as it normally would be. You don't need to recite Yizkor again if you recited it today. The latter days of Yom Tov, of course, when they conclude, I'll send out the guide again today about our the observances in terms of toward the end of Yom Tov. Havdalah is just on the coast, and then 1 hour after the end of after Pesach, 9:30 p.m. That's when we assume the chametz was bought back. Anything that I've said till now left out one little detail, of course, which is that at the end of Yom Tov, we should please make sure each person, we call it the Ne'ilat HaChag, we also call it in Pesach, a special meal everyone should have in their house, calls the Sudat Mashiach. It was not the invention of Chabad that they did this. The Vilna Gaon held the Sudat Mashiach every year at the end of Pesach. Why? Because the window of opportunity for the redemption to arrive is any time, but no greater time in the year, no time more auspicious than in the month of Nisan on the holiday of Pesach as it comes to an end. It's a window of opportunity. Nobody here should be lost in messianic fervor and decide they're packing their bags and leaving. We'll wait to hear the announcement. But know this, it's a global moment now. And it's a moment of a great opportunity, not only for celebration, but also for commitment for each of us in relationship to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and to make a certain cheshbon nefesh for ourselves. How are my relationships? How could I do better my mitzvah bin adam l'chaveiro? I fundamentally believe this, and I say this, those who know me a long time don't engage in messianic speculation, the gematrias, trying to figure out it's going to be now, then. It's a window of opportunity. But I believe the window is flung open now. If only we will take the opportunity, this could be it, friends. Who knows? So I wish everyone, the rest of Yontif, a Chag Sameach, great things. We're looking forward to great things, moments of Yeshua, V'nechamot, of salvations and of consolations that are coming. And God willing, we should be zoche to hear the herald of Eliyahu Hanavi, not just with our open doors, but with our open screens after Yontif on Twitter and on Facebook and all over all the news and networks announcing we should go to the airport and the Mashiach Tzidkenu has arrived. So there'll be more instructions on what to do if that's the eventuality right after Yontif. Until then, friends, I wish you all the best and a Chag Sameach.